whose objective was to regulate and protect dependent people, either for health reasons or for reason of age. So you have to understand that the aging people is involved on that law, on the state dependency law. Huh? And in addition to this law, we have some other laws which are regional ones. But as you see, I'm talking about laws. I'm not talking about solutions. So we have laws. On 2006, we developed laws. So the issue is that despite these laws, there is one fact to highlight. The application of actions and tools associated with the protection of the elderly is totally unbalanced here. Unbalanced by region. I mean, it's completely different region by region. And doesn't have the necessary resources to attend this demographic tsunami we are suffering now. So if I have to give you, and I already told you something that I study a lot, I think about a lot about this issue, and I involve many people here in Spain talking about how could be the situation. We have laws, but I could say that we don't have a strategy. So that's
still,
we could,
something still need to be developed.
I mean, we have a main issue, which is pensions. And so the government is taking care of what is going to happen with the pensions, which is the main thing. I mean, the people need money to live. I already explained most of the older people here in Spain receive public pension. So what's going to happen if the government can't pay the pension? Then it's going to be dramatic, but because then they won't be able to develop solutions for the care system here. So it's something that if you see, this is because when we talk about the strategy, you ask me about government strategy, and we could introduce something else, which is private strategy, personal strategy, family strategy. Mainly in Spain, there is a family strategy in Spain because our social cultural situation and so on. So we could say, as I already told you, that we have a lack of government strategy. And what we have at least is what we call private and personal strategy. So, but at the end, what is true is that although we try to plan, we normally used to operate when the problem arrives. So we are not preventive. So it's not a strategy on its really sense, which is something that is developed first in order to plan what is going to happen. So also I have to say something also, which obviously I said that it's not a strategy from the municipality point of view, not from the government point of view. Also from some regional governments point of view, they practice social actions and policies related to the care of the elderly. But when you see those and when you see the impact and the solution they gave, it's based more on give some quantities instead of resolve the complete problem. No? So as I already told you, it's a pity, but we can say that we don't have a realistic strategy. We don't.
This is that obviously coming from abroad, we look at the Spanish market is that people would love to spend more time in family, and then basically a lot of the elderly would have been taken care of by the family. How do the Spanish today look at this, and especially actually the people from our age? How do they intend coping with taking care of their parents and so forth? Is that because we see yourselves as quite a Southern, very family driven, very strong family values? Is this the way that you see things moving forward? Are there other elements, opportunities that you see out there? What's your perception towards that?
You have pointed something interesting, and it's true regarding our country. We are, from the family point of view, we are so social. We are so close. It's like in Italy, in Portugal, more or less like in Greece. Not at all, but very close to Italy, we could say. So we are, when I told you before about the personal and family strategy, I was pointing on that. From the past, how we work, and that's why the ratio of a state in a nursing home is 1.7 years. Is because you arrive when nobody from your family can take care of you.
Indeed.
That's how we work. You know that also from a society point of view, we are so close. It's so difficult. Well, nowadays things are changing. Obviously, I'm not from Barcelona and I live in Barcelona, and my parents even doesn't live where they have born and they have work. So, but it's a strange a family like this here in Spain. So here we used to live all together. I mean, the same city or in the same area or the same region. So we used to help each other. So it's something that from the elderly care point of view, the first thing the people used to do is taking point on their family. I mean, their sons, their daughters, mainly daughters. Obviously, we have also statistics and facts about it, how it's working, and almost 70% are daughters instead sons and so on. So that was what's happened. But now that we are in a different situation, which is you should know also because it's happening in all the countries around the world, which is we are the sandwich generation. You know, we are a generation, we have had kids on the 30s, almost 40s later, and our parents are arriving to the elderly age when they need to somebody to take care of them. So we are in the middle and we have small kids, we have to take care of those and we have to take care of the parents. That's happening also here in Spain. So that's something that what is generating here in our country is suddenly we need solutions. Suddenly, I mean, the family can take care of the parents. So what we do is looking for quickly for somebody who could take care of them. You know, 70% of our market on the domestic home care is black with nothing. I mean, you don't have contract. The people who is taking care of the person is without any rules and any regulation, which is, I mean, you can imagine it's not the best thing to regulate or to work with in a country. So because of this sandwich generation, this point is changing our society and is highlighting the needs we have on the habitat for the 60 plus people. We need solutions. We know we need solutions, but we are a follower country.
To alleviate the pressure on the informal caregivers, family, friends, to make that happen. So actually, we discussed it quite extensively last week or 2 weeks ago when we were with Patrick Hoffer, and we came to the same conclusion that. So I think these countries, the need is even more than like Spain. So I have another specific element. Obviously, we saw the last 10, 20 years, the prices go up on real estate. And obviously the pensions have not followed the same pace that the cost went up. How do you see this as a threat or also an opportunity for new solutions? Any perspectives on that?
Yeah, we have some because there is something that I believe I didn't explain to you in this interview. If we see how is the wealth status of the elderly here in Spain, we have to consider that almost 90% of the 60 plus people, they have their own house. So it's by their own. 90%.
Very interesting, yeah.
90%. So that's 90%. I mean, those 90% who own their own house. If we check an average of those, we have to consider that almost 75% of their wealth is that home they have by their own. So answering your question, what's going to happen? The real estate is increasing, but the pensions are not increasing on the same.
So they don't feel it directly from the rental because they own already. So
they own already. So we know that we have to propose private solutions to complete the formula of the pension. And we have to consider on that formula this situation that 90% of the people own their own house. So solutions aiming at creating communities or new solutions for habitat or wherever, using economies of scale, used to or should consider that situation on the formula. I mean, we know that obviously we know the pensions are not to increase. We know the real estate is increasing year by year. Although this situation, if we see the perspectives for the future, is going to continue increasing. So we have to consider in the formula that the people own their own houses. So we have to use that for something.
Yeah. So therefore, I think also the mentality is also more towards ownership than rental.
Yeah, but it's changing. It's something that there is, you know, I already told you, we are a follower country. We are not nowadays, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I know what should have happened in the future, but nowadays we are not an innovative country. We are a follower country. What we used to do is we apply the solutions that we see in other countries. And we see, it's working there. Okay, let's take here and let's put to work. So from the real estate market, and now I'm not talking about elderly, and then I translate into the elderly market. From the real estate market, we are taking the same solutions that are coming from abroad. And the new developments now here in Spain are facing renting, not ownership. Why? Because you know that we have also the youngest generation here, the income they have is so low. So they are not thinking on buying. I mean, the generations before, they were thinking on buying a house, working. If they could, buying a second house, working. They were hard workers and they believe on the property of the brick. The youngest generation in Spain, they don't even want to have a car. They are not even getting the car licenses. They don't. Here in Barcelona, you have to know, we have many motorbikes. This was a city crazy of motorbikes. You have to see how they are disappearing. The young people, they don't want to ride a motorbike. They don't. I mean, they just want to go with the skate, or they want to rent something. They don't believe on that. So that's from the rental real estate situation. I mean, we are changing, we are adopting solutions from abroad, but also because our society is changing. But regarding the 60 plus people, they are also changing. Why? Because it's not the same who is now, let's say 80s, and was 75, 15 years ago, and came back from the 40s, 1940. If we consider now the people who is arriving to that age of 65, 70, they have a different mind. I mean, I already told you, they have more knowledge, and they know they have a large life expectancy. That information, they know about that. So they know they have many years to enjoy or to whatever, but they know. And they have a huger income than the previous generations. And their wealth status is higher. And most of them, they own 2 houses instead of 1. So they are much more open to different solutions in order to enjoy the years they have for the future. So we are seeing that this I'm talking this third age, not 4H. The 4H, which I already told you that represent 36%. I mean, they don't, but regarding the third age, they have a different mentality, and they are open to change. But they are open to change if they get the same values that I already told you before. How, I mean, this trust, this family, if they get the same benefits, I mean, they are able, they want to because they want to live. So it's a different way. You have to see, if you see this 4H generation, when they retire, they were inside. Small movement, small enjoyness in between them. If you see now this third age generation here in Spain, it's more open, more fresh. They are active, more active. I mean, they want to do things. They don't mind to move 6 months wherever place and come back. I mean, so obviously they are more digitalized than the other 4H. So the connections works in a different way. So regarding this, as you asked me regarding this rental situation for the real estate on this age, I would say that it's an opportunity for the third age, not at all for the 4H nowadays.
If I would ask you just to summarize final observation, the really particularities that you see as is and towards the future from the Spanish market, where would you summarize? Where would you put the summarize? On which topics would you focus?
Yeah, I would say that regarding that, that for sure we need innovative habitat solutions mainly for the third age. I'm not saying for the fourth age that we need also. But I'm not saying because the main big operators of nursing homes are already here in Spain. And as I already told you, they are involved on M&A operations, and they are still working on the way they work. So this is difficult to change. It's going to be difficult to change. But I believe that there is a huge need about innovative habitat solutions for the third age. As I already told you, mostly older Spaniards want to live independently. So, which means that if we consider this sandwich generation, which we are involved both on it, and if we consider that things are changing, so means that it needs a solution if they want to live independently, because you know that always there is a transition stage in between third age and 4H, and they will arrive also to that transition stage. So we need that also. Also, I would say that I already answered you on the last question, that older Spaniards are beginning to adopt consumer trends of living after retirement. They aim at living better with more adapted homes and with easy access to services they need. We are seeing how we are seeing that, because when they go on vacation, I'm talking about third age, and they go, what they evaluate a lot are the services they get from the hotels and so on the resorts. You know, that's an important thing they evaluate. Okay, that's a good place, but what are they going to give me there? Okay, they give me, it's fine. Okay. And then, as I explained before, Spain is a follower country. We are not really innovative, mainly in senior care solutions. So we are still
also with all these foreigners, with hybrid as well, with all these foreigners that are in the country, seniors in the country. So I think that's also an interesting perspective. You mentioned that earlier already.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's something that what happened with the foreigners is that as we don't have solutions, what it happens is that they arrive here with retirement around the 60s, 65, more 60s, because the foreigners who come here to Spain used to be a medium-high wealth status people. But the issue is that we don't have solutions for this transition in between third age and 4H and 4H. So they come back to their countries. So obviously it's something which is really, really interesting and a really opportunity for them. So we have to consider both. We are a follower country. We need to establish habitat solutions, which we don't have. And we could have. It's so easy to develop those. For both locals and also for this big community of foreigners who live here nowadays.
And I've also noted here affordability is an important element as well. But at the same time, you have a high population with a lot of, should I say, ownership. So that means that room for also a specific focus for the Spanish market to seize the opportunity that today there's a lot of place for home ownership, also wealth transfer because of that, but in a very clear openness to move towards rental.
Yeah,
I'm just taking a few notes while you're doing this discussion. So I think it's a very, very interesting perspective there, Juan. There are, again, here a lot of opportunity we can dig in further. So I would love to in the future seize the opportunity to dig in those elements in more depth. But I think for today, I think this was already an incredible summary on the major takeaways for the Spanish market. So thank you very much for your contribution, Juan, and I look forward to welcoming you again in the future on the channel.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex. It has been a really nice interview having with you, and also talking about this topic, which is a real, not just interesting, it's a real interesting and really important topic, what we should have to resolve for the future, at least here in our country, in Spain.
And
thank you.
Indeed, I agree with you. Thanks a lot, Juan.
Thank you.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Have a good evening too. Bye.